Wait, you're a Bears fan and you're not subscribed to my channel? Before this video starts, make sure to 1. Hit the subscribe button below to catch all Bears content right here on this podcast. 2. Hit the bell notification because you, my friend, are a diehard Bears fan. And 3. Like this video and tell all the Bears fans you know about the channel. Alright, that's better. Now that you're actually subscribed to the channel, make sure to bear down and enjoy this video.
Now this is a podcast all about Bears. You either cheering for this team or just pulling your hair. I like to take a minute, just sit right back and tell you how I became the #1 Bears fan.
That boy is Benny Hunter.
Cake on the mic, cake on the mic, cake on the mic, cake on the mic. People, this the intro. Sacramento, California, born and raised. And Antelope is where I spend most of my days. Talk bad about my team, you must be a clown. This is Keek on the mic, so you know you better bear down. Bear down.
Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Happy Monday. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Keek on the Mic. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Before I continue with today's episode of Keek on the Mic, I just wanted to give a huge congratulations to ex-Bears head coach Lovie Smith for landing the Houston Texans head coaching job. I absolutely loved Lovie Smith when he was the Chicago Bears head coach, so I wish him nothing but the best in Houston. So on today's episode of Keek on the Mic, it's pretty interesting because obviously now we can relax a little bit because now we have a head coach, now we have a GM, and now we can get down to business in terms of draft in April, free agency in March. So now we can look ahead to all those exciting things in the Chicago Bears offseason. There's already been plenty of rumors going around Hallis Hall, but the latest rumor has been that the Chicago Bears are planning major changes at wide receiver. Obviously, for all Bears fans, including myself, this doesn't come as much a surprise because we all realize at this point that Allen Robinson will probably no longer be on the Chicago Bears after this offseason, which sucks because I know, including myself, a lot of Bears fans hoped that the Bears would be able to kind of get that relationship back on good terms and bring him back to Chicago. And we also have to realize that this is also no surprise because Darnell Mooney is currently the only Bears wide receiver under contract. So along with offensive line, Ryan Poles has a tough task ahead of him to ensure that he brings in not only offensive linemen, but receivers as well. But according to rumors, it seems like it's going to be going in that direction that the Bears are going to have a significant shift at the wide receiver position. For starters, something that we have to understand that the Bears are interested in bringing back return specialist Jakeem Grant, not only because his abilities as a special teamer and a punt returner, but what he would be able to bring to this offense. I truly feel that Luke Getsy can be really creative in the way that we use Jakeem Grant. Every time he touches the ball, he's electric, and I think Luke Getsy should have a heyday in terms of Jakeem Grant. We can also look at Tariq Cohen coming back healthy. If he is healthy, I think Luke Getsy will also be able to use him as a pretty good weapon for this Chicago Bears offense. And hopefully Tariq Cohen can come back healthy so he can be a huge contributor to the Chicago Bears offense. So along with Cohen and Jakeem Grant, the Bears and Ryan Poles are also, and this is just rumors, are also looking to strike on the veteran market. Obviously, we all know this offseason in free agency, there is a whole lot of free agent wide receivers. And this is one of the better free agent wide receiver markets that I've seen in a very long time. Of course, you have Chris Godwin, Devontae Adams, Mike Williams, Christian Kirk. The list goes on and on. The Bears have endless amount of opportunities to fix the wide receiver, not really fix, but add on to the wide receiver position for the Chicago Bears offense. So what the rumor is right now, the rumor is that Ryan Poles is hoping to score one or two quality names this March, which is a good sign. That means he's probably going to double down on free agency and maybe save those picks in the draft, which we only have 5, maybe for offensive line, secondary, maybe a little bit more on the defense side of the ball, right? So that's a good thing. One free agent said to have Poles' attention is Arizona Cardinals' Christian Kirk, which I absolutely love this. Christian Kirk is only 25 years old. Christian Kirk is a former second-round pick coming off one of his best seasons, going for 982 yards and 5 touchdowns. The problem is that Arizona isn't in a good situation to re-sign Christian Kirk, And Kirk is looking for more of an opportunity to come in and shine and kind of hopefully be that number one guy and hopefully find an offense that really uses him a lot more. Obviously, in Arizona, they have a lot of weapons over there. So he's kind of been lost in the shadows a little bit, but he did perform really well this past season, and he could be looking for a new home. And with Christian Kirk, he is only 5'11", and I believe Darnell Mooney's also 5'11", but his big playability is really hard to ignore. Christian Kirk is an explosive player, and that is one of the things that Ryan Poles is looking for in terms of what he wants to add to this Chicago Bears offense. Guys that can stretch the field and be explosive with the ball in their hands, and I truly feel that Christian Kirk would add that dynamic to this Chicago Bears offense. So, how do you guys feel about Christian Kirk? That is just a rumor name, and I know there's been a lot of Bears fans saying, oh, Christian Kirk would be an excellent option to pair next to Darnell Mooney. Obviously, like I mentioned, you bring a healthy Tariq Cohen, you bring Jakeem Grant back. I think then you're starting to find something, right? You're starting to add some really explosive players to this Chicago Bears offense in order for Justin Fields to have so many weapons around him. So hopefully Justin Fields can just tear it up in this next season. How would you guys feel about adding Christian Kirk to the Chicago Bears offense? Let me know down below in the comment section. There is also a strong feeling, and like once again, these are just rumors. There's also a strong feeling that Poles will explore the potential wide receiver trade market as well. Names to keep in mind that are Calvin Ridley, which has already been rumored, Amari Cooper from Dallas, Jarvis Landry, McCole Hardman from Kansas City, Marvin Jones from Jacksonville. So those are some of the names on the wide receiver trade market. One thing that we have to keep in mind when we're looking at the trade market for wide receivers is what will the price be? What will the price look like for the Chicago Bears? Obviously, I mentioned this earlier in the podcast. We only have 5 draft picks, so we have to be really cautious that the price is right. We can't really spend all our draft capital for this upcoming draft on one player. That's just my personal opinion. I know that the name that's been coming up a lot in the trade market, especially for the Chicago Bears, is Calvin Ridley. That's another guy that's explosive, right? He can stretch the field. He has big playability. And once again, that would give Justin Fields another dynamic weapon for him to throw to. And I just want you guys as Bears fans, because I've kind of been picturing this ever since I've been hearing these rumors. Can you imagine next year's offense, right? You have Darnell Mooney, right? Let's say you add Calvin Ridley. You add Christian Kirk, right? You have Jakeem Grant, Tariq Cohen, Cole Kmet. You still have Khalil Herbert, right? You still have David Montgomery. All of a sudden, you're starting to think, okay, maybe our receiving court wouldn't be as big, like 6'3" and up, right? But we would definitely have the speed and that big play ability there. And also, you have to add what Justin Fields can do as a runner as well. I think it would be a beautiful thing. And I know also Ryan Poles can also consider that we don't always have to trade our draft capital, right? We can double down at wide receiver in free agency. There's so many free agent wide receivers that we could choose from. Personally, I look at Mike Williams. He has the big playability, right? He's been a consistent threat for the Los Angeles Chargers for the last couple of seasons. I think it would be a beautiful fit here in Chicago. So then you start thinking, okay, now we have Mike Williams, Darnell Mooney. You could still add Christian Kirk, his big playability. I think that would be a beautiful thing. So any route that Ryan Poles chooses to go, I feel like it would be a win for the Chicago Bears and especially Justin Fields. But at the end of the day, I think personally, I would just double down at the free agent market, right? And I probably wouldn't give up any draft capital to get any of these free agent wide receivers that are on the trade market. And it just depends at the end of the day what the price is. If the price is right, then yeah, go ahead and get Calvin Ridley. But I'm not sure if I'm willing to give up my second round pick for Calvin Ridley. I'm not sure how you guys feel about that. Let me know down below in the comment section. So all in all, I think we have to realize that Ryan Poles has a mission, right? His mission this offseason is to get Justin Fields protection and give him weapons, right? So to me, it's looking like what he's going to do is it's going to be all offense for the Chicago Bears, which may upset some Bears fans. For me, I don't know if that upsets me as much because I still feel like outside of the secondary for our defense, I still feel like we have a lot of good pieces on this Chicago Bears defense. When you look at the Chicago Bears offense, it's been years since we've had a really good Bears offense. So I think for me, I would be fine with Ryan Poles attacking this offseason in an offensive mindset, making sure he's getting enough protection for Justin Fields and making sure he's adding some big explosive weapons to this Chicago Bears offense. So as a fan, I'm going to trust Ryan Poles because at the end of the day, I know he's trying to center this offense around Justin Fields with big explosive players that can make big plays for him and hopefully get Justin Fields to the next level. So like always, how do you guys feel about these rumors? If these rumors are true that he is going to attack this offseason trying to find multiple wide receivers, what wide receivers would you want the Bears to pick up? Do you want Mike Williams? Do you want Christian Kirk? Do you want Calvin Ridley? Let me know down below in the comment section. But before I let you guys go, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification to catch all Bears content around the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms. Make sure you share this episode of Keek on the Mic with every single Bears fan that you know. But other than that, I'll be back for an all-new Bears podcast right here on Keek on the Mic. Thanks, guys, and bear down.
Running with country bear. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Keek on the mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Keek on the mic. You can go and subscribe cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Keek on the mic.